Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is David, and on this channel I usually talk about classics and other books worth reading from the German, English, Italian, French or Yiddish literature. Today, however, there's a premiere, namely it's a first video about a comic or a graphic novel that I discovered some time ago and that I would like to present. I'm talking of the Blacksad series that was written by Juan Díaz Canales and Juanjo Guarnido. The authors are of Spanish origin, but these comics were originally published in French language, but there are now translations available in almost all European languages. And this is not a single comic, but it's a whole series of 7 books or 7 episodes. And the first part was published back in the year 2000. And since then, every now and then, a sequel has been published, the most recent being volume number 7, published in 2023. These are detective stories about the melancholy private eye John Blacksad, and they are set in post-war New York of the 1940s and 1950s. And the style and the atmosphere of the stories are reminiscent of the hard-boiled detective stories like the ones written by Dashiell Hammett or Raymond Chandler, as well as the French roman noir. And in other words, it's the classic setting of a private detective who takes on private investigation assignments. And the private eye is often living on the edge of legality himself. He lives in the same milieu as the criminals he's trying to hunt down, and he also does not shy away from violence and breaking the laws, and sometimes even applying lynch law in order to achieve his goals or to finish his job. What sets these Blacksad stories apart is that all the characters are anthropomorphized animals or humans appearing in animal form. You can see it either way, with a very unique balance between individualized character traits and zoological stereotypes that never come across as cheap, as cliched or racist. John Blacksad is, like you can see, is a black cat, a black tomcat, and criminals are often cold-blooded reptiles or amphibians. Policemen are often dogs. And one of Blacksad's most important companions is the journalist Weekly, a nimble weasel who is sometimes incredibly useful to Blacksad, but sometimes also incredibly annoying, and who always has a very strong body smell. However, these comics, they're very interesting and suspenseful, but they do not skimp on social critical topics, namely the major challenges that the American society was facing in the 1940s and 50s, such as the corruptibility of political decision makers by influential business bosses, racial discrimination and segregation, and the foundation of secret societies, of white supremacists, then Ku Klux Klan types of societies, and the sometimes shameful way that the society treated its World War II veterans, for whom there was no organized state aid to find their way back into society after the traumatizing experiences of war. Or also the communist hysteria, the sort of witch hunt under McCarthy, and the misuse of science for political goals, such as the construction of the atomic bomb. All this is mentioned in these comics, and it's the background of the stories, but it's mentioned without ever being unpleasantly preachy. You never see moral finger pointing here, but all these themes are organically embedded in the plot, or rather it's the other way around. These themes form the historical context in which the already highly suspenseful criminal cases surrounding the private eye Blacksad are embedded. What I find admirable and what won me over to these comics from the very first pages is the very unique atmosphere of the visual language of these comics. I don't have the relevant specialist knowledge and vocabulary about comics to be able to describe this effect properly and what measures are used to generate this effect. But in my simple words, these are images that create a visual atmosphere that is immensely original and recognizable. You recognize the style of Blacksad comics at first glance, and you feel like you're really being drawn into a gangster film of the 1940s and 50s. And the images are sometimes incredibly detailed, where it serves the atmosphere, and they are a real feast for the eyes, but never overloaded or overstuffed. I don't want to say anything about the plots of the episodes because that's a genre that doesn't tolerate spoilers, and just this much. The individual volumes are all more or less self-contained and can actually be read in any order. Only the sixth and seventh volumes form two directly connected parts. However, it is easier to understand quite a few cross-references if you read the episodes in the correct order. And the good news is that you don't have to buy them all separately. There are also some anthologies on the market now that contain several or almost all the parts published to date. Since a few years now, there has also been a computer game that borrows from the stories about Blacksad, but unfortunately, I cannot say anything about it. But I would be interested to know if you know the game and can say or write something about it. So that's it for today. I hope I was able to make you a little bit curious about this comic series, Blacksad, and hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye and ciao.